If you're not connecting with kids, everything else I teach is garbage. You need to be connected for this discipline stuff to work.
Today's topic, we're going to be going over 10 common parenting phrases.
That's what bothers me about it. It's patronizing. Let them come up to the high road. Don't try and drag them up there. Let them come up on their own.
Let's take a deep breath.
You know what you're doing here? You're firing me up, aren't you? You're doing that on purpose. I can feel it because I'm getting frustrated. You know me. Don't act all innocent. She knows exactly.
I would never do that.
Oh, you know exactly how I feel about all this stuff. It drives me freaking nuts. Welcome to the Bratbusters Parenting Podcast. My name's Lisa Bunnage. I'm a parenting coach. I'm a mom. I'm also a grandmother.
And I'm Amy Bunnage, Lisa's daughter, and I handle the marketing and planning here at Bratbusters. While I don't have kids, each episode will dive into parenting topics and Lisa will answer your questions. Let's get started.
Okay, sweetie, what is today's topic?
So today's topic, we're going to be going over 10 common parenting phrases that I think you might feel strongly about one way or another.
So that parents say, or?
That parents say that I'm going to guess that you're going to say stop saying these.
Okay.
But we'll see. Who knows?
Okay. Oh, well, I don't know what's coming up, so I'm excited.
And then we have just a few parent questions right after that.
Sounds good.
Okay, I think we'll get right into it. So some of these were just what I've heard from your comment section, and then others I used good old ChatGPT to see what parents are saying to their kids when kids act out or...
Oh, I could fill in that. Okay.
Okay. The first one is use your words. What are your thoughts on this?
They are using their words. They're using their line of communication. It's not your words, but they're not you. So quit expecting them to be you. That's what bothers me about that. It's so patronizing. Imagine if you're arguing with your spouse and they said, use your words. In other words, you're not communicating very well. Kids are communicating well. You just have to know how to read them. So you got to buff up your skills on how to read them instead of expecting them to act like you and to grow up. That's what bothers me about it. It's patronizing. They are using their words. They are using their way of communicating.
With all ages kids?
I would never say that to anybody, use your words. I just think it's so, what is it? It's just ick. Gives me the grosses. What is it? What is it about it? Use your words. Be more like me. That's how it sounds to me. You're not good enough the way you are. Be more like me. Okay, I'm a little bit dramatic, but that's how it feels to me. I just can't stand it.
Okay. Once we go through all these as well, I think it'll be really helpful if you go over what to do instead, because it might become a little negative if a parent's hearing
and another
this,
one that I hate.
And then they're like, okay, great. Now what do I do? Okay,
well, let's get into the use your words then. So when they're all upset and they're screaming and you can't understand them, you can just, well, if they're having a tantrum, you just ignore them. And then when they're upset afterwards, say, okay, so what's happening? And then they'll whatever, they're going to cry and they're going to maybe throw something and say, okay, so let's just wait a little bit. You're just sort of always trying to sort of calm them down in that you're calm, but you're not asking anything of them. So, okay, what's going on? If they have a fit and they just walk away, you just go and do the dishes or something and just let them calm down on their own. It's very important to let kids learn how to de-escalate their own emotions. You cannot do that for them. It's a real fallacy. I know it's really popular right now to say, help them de-escalate their emotions. That's absolute garbage. They have to learn how to do that themselves. So the sooner that you just act calm and just let them sort it through on their own, if it's really it usually isn't anything big, by the way, especially when they're younger. So when it is something big, they often get quiet or they just sort of cry. They don't usually scream and kick up a fit when it's something big. That's usually just over not getting a want, right? But yeah, we'll get into this more as we go along. But yeah, use your words, just save it. It's just, or use it on your spouse, see how they like it. A lot of people treat kids way worse than they would an adult. Imagine saying that to your spouse or your boss. Use your words. See, it's the same thing. It's patronizing. It's just snotty.
Although I would assume that said boss or said spouse is probably not acting the way a kid would be acting in the moment.
Well, that doesn't suit my argument, so I don't want to discuss it.
It doesn't, but I think that maybe I need to call it out because maybe that's what a parent's thinking.
But let's say spouses, sometimes you do get upset and you might be yelling at each other. Imagine if your spouse said to you, use your words. So that can happen. In more intimate relationships, that's more likely to happen where you're kind of getting a little bit out of control. Yeah, use your word. Like, in other words, calm down. Look at me. I'm so calm. Yeah, it's just snotty. No, you were thinking about something, and I could tell you had a good point, but you didn't want to say it because she's too nice sometimes.
Well, I'm assuming that your thought process there is that you always say let them come up to the high road with you, but you're not saying look at me on the high road. But is it
No,
kind of like the use your words is?
that's the whole point. Let them come up to the high road. Don't try and drag them up there. Let them come up on their own. You just set the example of being calm. They will eventually join you on the high road. So that's the whole point. You're not dragging them into it. Let them find their own way, and they will. And then they'll stay there. If you drag them up, they're going to go right back down again because they haven't done it on their own.
We'll go on to the next one. Is why would you do that?
Hmm. Again, what if you did something wrong? What if you were late and a friend said to you, "Why would you do that?" It's exactly the same. It's stuff that you would never say to an adult. Adults make mistakes. Could you imagine saying, "Why would you do that?" to a friend who turned up late? Why would you do that? Explain yourself. You see? It's the same thing. I don't need to explain that, do I? Like why you would not say that to a friend. Why would you do that?
It just puts you on the defense.
Of course it is. Of course it does. It's insulting. In other words, you shouldn't do that. You're an idiot. That's basically what you're saying. Why would you do that? You never say that with something great. They give you a present. Why would you do that? Use your words. It's always when they've done something wrong. It's always a criticism.
The next one is let's take a deep breath.
Well, I don't mind that one as much. Because you're including yourself too, for one thing. Also, they don't have to take the deep breath. There's no pressure if they don't. But also, it it's a form of diversion. I would rather allow them to get themselves out of their little snit, their tantrum or whatever. Allow them to learn how to get themselves out with unaided by you once they're like 16 months and over, approximately. When they're really little, I might do a lot of redirection, but yeah, it's still sort of entering the tantrum. I'm assuming these things are all set around a tantrum. So it's when they're upset, you're still entering into that. I wait till they're done, then I engage with them. I don't enter into it. But it's not bad. It's not patronizing. It's not snotty.
The next one is hands aren't for hitting.
Yeah, so what's your point? So they already know that. That's one of those empty statements. We won't be hitting anymore. Okay. And then they slap you across the face. It's an empty statement. It means nothing.
So how would you approach it? Maybe how would you approach it if a toddler's hitting
If a
versus
toddler hits, I say no, and then I physically restrain them and prevent them from hitting again. And then if an older child, 3 and above, hits, I put no hitting on the behavior board, and there's a consequence when they do. We all learn through consequences, and consistent corrective actions with a toddler is a consequence. So you're taking action, you're stopping them, and then you're not allowing them to hit again, or you're taking away a favorite toy, or you're removing them from the fun. So it's the consequences. That's what keeps us accountable. It's not the lectures. It's not knowing what you should and shouldn't do that makes us do what we should and not what we shouldn't do. That's not it. It's the consequences. Like, do we pay our taxes because we know we should, or because we know if we don't? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, we might be later, right? If there's no consequence. Wouldn't you be a little bit later? Maybe another year or two late? You know what I'm saying? It's the consequences that keep us all accountable. The sooner your children learn that, the better. Because then they're self-disciplined. I never wanted to tell my kids what to do, and I kind of didn't, did I?
not really? No.
No, I never really told them what to do. I wanted them to have self-discipline. And that also gives them pride because they felt like they were in control of their own lives. They kind of knew right from wrong, and they knew if they did wrong, mom would come in with a consequence. It was kind of simple. But yeah, all these things are going down the lecture path. And where's the hands aren't for hitting? And so what's your point? And I'm going to hit again anyway. Like, why? How is that going to impact them at all?
I think that I didn't put this on the list, but I think with the hands are for hitting, I often hear parents say things like gentle hands, we use gentle
Oh,
hands.
God. Okay. You know what you're doing here? You're firing me up, aren't you? You're doing that on purpose. I can feel it because I'm getting frustrated. You know me. Oh, don't act all innocent.
I
She knows
I would
exactly.
never do that.
Oh, you know exactly how I feel about all this stuff. It drives me freaking nuts. It's so patronizing and empty. And you know what's interesting is that parents are more likely to talk like use your words and all that stuff when they're out in public. Do you know why? They're more likely to yell at home, and when they're out, they're more likely to do that. It's the show. They think it makes them look like kind, loving parents, but really it just kind of makes you look ineffective and patronizing. It's not a show for me, that's for sure. I'm like, oh my God, that poor kid. So yeah, it's all these empty words. It's just empty. It's just fluff. There's no lesson in it. That's not their language. That's your language. It's not my language, by the way. But if people who say that they like that, but it's not for your children. It's for you. Let's get that straight. That's not for your kids. It's all about you when you talk like that.
I do want to say though, I don't think it's always for the show because I think a lot of this information is getting like people are sharing this
Yeah,
information.
but the parents who use this stuff are the most likely to yell. Those are the parents I get as clients. And they say, yeah, I tried all that stuff for a while and then I ended up yelling. That there's three different types of parenting that I categorize it. The old-fashioned authority, the newfangled pleaser parent, which is what we're talking about here. And then I teach leadership. I don't know anyone else who does. I just invented this stuff. You want to be friends with your kids and you don't want to tell them what to do, but you want to guide them into making good choices. That's the way I look at it. And you want them to have high self-esteem and pride. They don't have pride in being an obedient soldier for you. They have pride in being self-propelled, self-disciplined, having control over their own lives. That's how you build strong individuals, not by them being obedient. I don't believe in that stuff. But yeah, the yellers are most likely to be the pleasers because they get the least amount of respect. They realize that stuff doesn't work after a couple of years or a few years, and then they end up yelling, and then they end up hiring me or looking for help elsewhere. So I know where that goes.
Okay, we'll go into the next one. So the next one is that's not how we behave.
Again, so what's your point? It's a lecture. It's just a empty, pompous lecture. That's not how we behave. I can just imagine how people, that's not how we behave. Oh, geez. Where's the point? Where's the lesson? There is none. That's not how we behave. And they're thinking, well, it may not be how you behave, but it's certainly how I behave. And here I go again. Where's the lesson? There is none. That's not how we behave. You want to make a bet? I'm getting fired up here. I'm sweating. I'm getting so fired up. I'm very passionate about my job.
I sometimes liken these to if you and I are working together, and if I had said one of these, no, Mom, that's not how we behave when we do this.
Well, just earlier, she was showing me something on the computer. We do not get along when it comes to technology because I'm horrible at it and she's great at it. This is how she talks to me when she's showing me something. Okay, so you just push that button. No, just to the left. I said the left one. No, that's the center one. What did I say? The left one. So push.
I become the most patronizing, annoying person.
And I become a snotty little brat.
We're a great combo there. Okay,
But we have fun.
The next one, and maybe I have to say this to you sometimes too, is don't roll your eyes at me.
We both say that. Don't you roll? Again, what's the point? And they're rolling their eyes because they don't respect you, by the way. So if a kid rolled their eyes at me, I'd think I got some work to do on myself. It's just a sign. It means that you're not a leader. You got to earn that. You got to earn that respect. If they're rolling their eyes at you, they don't respect you because you're not a leader, because you're not respectable. That's the thing. You can't just expect respect by not earning it. You got to work for it. You got to earn it. That's all I teach here. It's how you get respect. But you got to give it. So yeah, don't you roll your eyes at me. Yeah, well. And next point, Mom. Like, what?
Okay, we have 4 more.
Oh,
So
good. I'm all sweaty. I don't know if I can take it anymore. Okay.
no. The next one is look at me when I'm talking to you.
Oh.
Now this might go a little bit with older kids, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it would. It would be more. I'm guessing more like 5, 6, 7 was when that would start. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Well, if they're not looking at you, they don't respect you. What you should be saying is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go away, learn how to be a leader, and then I'll come back and then you'll look at me. You see, you're blaming your kids for not looking at you, whereas you should blame yourself for not earning it. You see, that's what I'm teaching here. I don't fix kids. I fix and teach parenting here. They look at a leader. They don't look at a non-leader. So If a kid's not looking at me, I always think, oh, what am I doing wrong here? Quit blaming your kids for that. It's you. It's all you. If they're not looking at you, you haven't earned their respect. I teach you how to earn it. That's all I'm doing here.
My assumption, so where would we start if you're looking to earn respect?
Well, go to my website, bratbusters.com, and you can check out my free behavior board. That's completely free. There's a lot in that. It's actually a mini course. It also has a toddler section. So it's 3 and above for the behavior board, but then there's a little toddler section, what you do before they turn 3. And it's now, most of what I teach is not discipline. Most of what I teach is connection. That, I don't talk about this as much as I probably should because I don't get asked about it a lot. But because everyone wants to know how to discipline their kids, that's not where I start at all. I connect, and then I've got power. Once I'm connected and I'm fun and they enjoy it, they feel good about themselves when they're with me, now I have power. You got to earn that. I earn it. I work for it. Everyone expects the respect first, and then I can relax and have fun with my kids. Oh, you're doing it so wrong. You connect with them, play with them, make them feel good about themselves, then you get the respect. Then you can deal with the bad behavior. That's all we do here. I teach you how to connect, and then you can deal with the bad behavior. But once you're connected and they respect you, the bad behavior goes away anyway. You ever looked up to anyone, like a coach, a teacher, a grandparent that you look up to, makes you feel great about yourself? Would you ever be rude to that person? Not only that, you might try and please them, right? That's what I teach here. It's like you're like a mentor, a friend, a confidant, someone they can talk to right through the teen years. You're a safe place to land. And you're fun. You make them feel good. And you don't say stupid statements like use your words. God, I hate that one. God, I hate this. One of my worst ones. I just hate it so much.
There's a reason I started with it.
Oh, God.
Okay, we have 3 more. So listen to me.
Respect me, even though I haven't earned it yet. Yeah, that's all you're saying is you respect me, but I'm not a leader and I don't earn respect and you shouldn't listen to me, but do it anyway. It's so weak. It's begging. And you're begging for something that you haven't earned yet. You got to earn that. You got to earn it. You got to work for it. I worked my butt off with kids. Not my own. I kind of got it when they were little, so it was easy. But when I was working with kids, these are kids who didn't respect anybody. Those are all the kids I worked with, teenagers, and I know how to get respect. I work for it. If they disrespect me, I always think, what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? I always take the responsibility. I never blame them because a leader doesn't do that.
Okay. The next one is you have 3 seconds to stop what you're doing.
And then what? The countdown. God, I hate that. It's so weak. So those 3 seconds say, I really don't know what to do here. So I'm just going to start counting and hope you stop so I don't have to do anything. And they pick up on that. They know you don't know what you're doing. They know you're afraid of them. The countdown is fear-based. There's no freaking way would I count down. There's no way. No, it's a fear-based thing. Kids pick up on the fact you're afraid of them.
Last one is I know you can make a better choice next time.
Again, it's just a lecture. I don't like it. It's just empty. None of it resonates with me, but I can't explain why I don't like that one. I know you can make it's not bad. I know you can make a better choice next time.
Now, from my understanding of your methods, I'm going to think why you might not like this one. Is it the idea that it's just putting the emphasis back onto the bad behavior rather than just dealing with it and then moving on?
Yeah, it's talking about it too much. Like once I've dealt with bad behavior, it's fast, it's over. Like that's the pool story. If you haven't heard the pool story, just Google Bratbusters pool story. It explains everything I do. It's the kid does something bad, I take action fast. And then I connect. Make them feel good about themselves. But if I had ended that pool story with, I know you're going to make a better choice next time. In other words, don't forget you were rotten. It's a reminder that they did something bad. Why would you do that? I know you're going to make a better choice next time, and you won't be as stupid as you were just now. It's passive aggressive almost, isn't it? I know you can do better because you did lousy now, but I know you can do better. But don't forget that you were lousy just now. It's passive aggressive. I don't, would you feel good if someone said, here you go. Would that make you feel good if someone said that to you? Like if you were late and you were meeting a friend, they said, I know you'll do better next time. Oh, how does that rub you? The wrong way?
A little, yeah.
Why is that? How do you explain that though? I can't quite explain it, but it's exactly the same thing. I know you'll do better next time. What is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. Maybe someone out there can explain why it just rubs you the wrong
Maybe
way.
you're screaming at us through the that is why.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I always equate it to how would I feel if someone said that to me. I know you'll do better next time. A kind of part of me wants to say, now that you've said that, I'm pretty sure I won't. You know, it's just kind of an insult.
Now, I think before we get into the parenting questions, I think maybe because it's been a lot of what you don't like, talk about some of the ways that you connect with kids.
Oh,
Because I think
God.
that is something that you get asked about a lot.
I know I do. And you know what's funny is I don't talk about it a lot. And even in coaching, it's some of the best I have a lot of fun in coaching. Some of the best laughs I get is when I share some of the stuff I do with kids, but I don't like talking about it. Now, the reason is I look like such an imbecile when I talk like this, like when I explain what I did with kids, but I know how to make kids laugh. I know how to connect with them. I know how to get on their level, rather than expecting them to be an adult. I know how to act like a 3-year-old. I know how to act like a 7-year-old. That's how I connect. I connect in their world. Should I share some of the stuff I used to do?
Yes.
Well, okay. Oh, God. Okay. This one's okay. I'm going to get some criticism for. You know what's funny is I'm so myself around kids, but around adults, I get self-conscious. Like kids, I have no inhibitions around kids at all. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do with kids. I did it with you kids when you were really little. I don't know if you remember because I might not have done it as much with you because your brother was older and he would have said, Mom's just full of it. So I'm not sure
I
if I did.
was also the second child.
She
so
was a second child, so really not noticed much. But anyway, and that reminds me of someone you were mentioning something that we talked about in a podcast, and then I said, I don't know, I wasn't listening. And we were joking around. We should bring that up because we joke around all the time. I was raised with a lot of humor. I raised my kids with a lot of humor. And we were talking about something, and you said, oh, I always feel heard. And then you said just the other day in the car or something, I was talking about something. And then you said, right, Mom? And I said, oh, I wasn't listening. And then the person took that seriously. Of course I was listening. But the funny part was I said I wasn't.
we have a lot of sarcasm that we've used in our family, and I know that sometimes it doesn't translate. So
We're just putting that out there.
we're just putting it out there. My mom listens to me when I cry.
Yes, of course I do. Okay. And she doesn't cry a lot. We're both pretty upbeat people. But yeah, when we do have a down date, we're there for each other for sure. 100%. Okay. I'm going to tell you something that I used with a lot of kids. It worked beautifully and it's absolutely ridiculous. And I know you're going to laugh at me and that's okay. Just remember, I did this with kids. I don't go to a party with adults and do this. Well, okay, maybe if I've had a couple of drinks because I'm not a very good drinker. But anyway, what I told my kids was that before I had kids, I used to be an international spy. And I said that I used to have all these secrets. I used to be able to help out all the world leaders because I'm a really good problem solver, right? So I said, but when I had kids, I told them I had to retire, but they still needed me because I'm very important in the world. And kids are just listening like, I can sell this to a kid, right? So anyway, and even when I'm talking now, I'm starting to believe myself. So anyway, I said, so what they did was they still needed my information, but I told them I don't want to talk to them. I don't want any connections with them. So they said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to plant a chip inside your head and when we need you, we'll buzz and we'll tap out what we need. And then you tap on your temple just a minute, getting a message. So this is what I would do with kids. And then I pretend to get a message and then I would listen to it and then I would tap out an answer. Kids were just like, wow, wow. Now I'm in their world. I'm a source of wonder. I'm a source of fun. How much power do you think that gives me with kids? A lot. I'm a source of wonder. And then they ask about it. And every so often, if they were acting out or something, then I'd say, oh, just a minute, I'm getting another message. Then I'd tap out. So, it just works. I had tons of different things I used to do. That was one of my favorites. But yeah, Enter their world, find your inner silly, be a sense of wonder. You can do magic tricks, science tricks, anything where they go, ooh, ah, that's what I was always kind of after. Just something really silly. So I had a whole bunch of stuff like that. But that's the kind of stuff I use to connect with teenagers. I use a lot of humor. So I connect with teenagers with humor. And I won't go into that too much.
But I
But
just wanted to put some emphasis on that before we get into the questions.
yeah, because if you're not connecting with kids, everything else I teach is garbage. Because you need to be connected for this discipline stuff to work. You need to be. The connection is by far, it's like 99% of it is the connection. If they look up to you, you're fun, you know how to enter their world, you know how to make them feel good about themselves, you've got them. You've just got them. They're going to listen to you. But you got to work for that. I made a total fool out of myself. You should see me at this take my granddaughter to this like a sing along kind of thing. Anyway, and I'm I'm the oldest one in there, but I'm probably the craziest one in there too. I try and hold it back a little bit. But yeah, I have no inhibitions around kids. I'm going to connect if it kills me. That's my goal with kids, is that I'll do anything to connect with a kid.
I think we're like that as a family. We'll do anything for a good laugh.
We will do anything for a laugh. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into the questions. So we have Margaret from the United States. My 6-year-old daughter is a perfectionist, and when she can't do something, she gets mad and throws or hits whatever she is working on. I then take away the toy or project she threw, and that makes her even more angry. She then proceeds to start saying mean things. Once it gets to comments like, I should hit mommy in the face, or I hope my family dies, I get triggered and can no longer keep my cool. That is the only time that I want to resort to spanking because it's absolutely unacceptable, and I can't and won't tolerate that type of talk. What can I do better? I can't ignore talk like that.
Well, okay. For one thing, it has nothing to do with perfectionism. She's a sore loser. She's a poor sport. If something doesn't go her way, she has a fit. That has nothing to do with perfection. A perfectionist will keep going till they get it perfect. So it's completely different. So she's the opposite of a perfectionist. So don't think about that. Anyway, if she's a sore, so do you want me to address that or the way she talks to her? I'm not too sure. There's two different things there. So if she's a sore loser, what I do, actually, my mom always used to say to me, "You're such a good sport." She was so proud of that. And when I was a little kid, I didn't know what that meant because I wasn't good at sports. And I couldn't figure out why she kept telling me I was a good sport because I wasn't good at sports. But what she meant was that I play really well. My mom was a real gamer. She loved cards and word games and that. So I grew up playing crib from the age of 5 and, really into cards. So, but she always emphasized how well you play. And if you're fun when you're playing, fun was a huge thing growing up. So long as you're funny and fun to be with, right? My mom always said, no one wants to be impressed in this world. They just want to have fun. And she was fun. So, but she always emphasized the playing and the having fun and how well you played, never the winning or the losing. So because sore losers are not born that way, it's a learned behavior. They learn that if something doesn't go right, there's something wrong with that item. Whereas really it just didn't go right. Anyway, so I won't get into that too much because I'm not too sure what you've taught her. Like, do you emphasize winning? And does the winner go, yay, I won? Does the loser go, darn, I lost? Like, do you get into that? Do you talk like that? See, I never grew up in a house like that. Neither did you. We didn't talk about winning and losing very much. So it was more just playing the game. That's how you get away from that. And it's not perfectionism. I've already gone over that. So when it comes to her attitude and the way she's treating you, that just says that you're not a leader. You've got to set yourself up as a leader before you get the respect. You don't try and fix her disrespect. It's just a sign that you're not respectable. Okay, you've got to earn her respect, and then she won't talk to you like that. You've got to be willing to go through the hard times to get to the good times. Everyone wants the good times by fixing their kids. It doesn't work that way at all. You got to fix yourself, and then the kids will treat you well. That's how it works. Set yourself up as a leader. Check out my boot camp course. That might be a good fit for you. The 3 to 12-year-old one. It's 5 weeks, teaches you how to be a leader. Okay, and it's paced out. Some people go through it really quickly and then it doesn't work and they can't figure it out. You can't fast track that. You have to, it's paced out over 5 weeks. You can stretch it out by a week or two, but don't try and rush it. Anyway, so yeah, check that out. It teaches you how to be a leader. It's never the kid, ever. I've worked with hundreds of kids, toddlers, teenagers. I always managed to get their respect. Did I just get them all on a good day over those 50 years? Or did I know how to get respect? Did I know how to get the best out of kids? That's all I teach here.
No, I
So
just think you got them all on a good day.
I do too. That's what someone said the other day. No, Lisa, you were just really lucky.
I do want to circle back to one thing that just really stuck out for me is no one wants to be impressed. That you taught me that from a very young age, and I hope that I've carried that into my adult life is that it rings true. You know, when you're talking to somebody and they just can't help but go on about all their accomplishments, and it just kind of,
Well, can't you wait to get away from that person? Nobody wants to be impressed. And there's this saying, be impressed, not impressive. When you walk into a room, be impressed with other people, be interested in them. Don't try and impress them with you. Nobody cares. Like it's just so, if you are engaging with other people, making them feel good, they are going to be impressed. But I never understand that being impressed. I never wanted people to be impressed by me. I just thought that was stupid. But I do want them to laugh. A little bit. I do like them to laugh at my dumb humor. So, but that's just because I like to laugh myself. So I'll just avoid anyone who doesn't have a sense of humor or my what.
no, I do the exact, no, no, no. I'm thinking about myself. It's like I will straight up put myself through embarrassment in order to get a laugh because that's just like
Well, we
something.
all do that. And, when you and I both do that self deprecating humor, huge on self deprecating humor. One of my favorite stories of myself, and it starts out sounding like I'm up myself, but it's a real hook at the end. It's one of my absolute favorite stories. I was in high school and I was a very quick, like I finished tests really early and I did quite well in school, but I was fast. So they had a team come in and they were from university and they were just doing some studies on people and how we learn differently. So I was one of the people they were going to study. And there was these other kids, basically the nerds of the school. And I wasn't a nerd, but I was a fast thinker anyway. So they did a study on me and they said to me at the end, they said, wow, like they had a 3-hour test they were giving us. And I finished it in like 20 minutes and I did really well on it. And then they asked me, they said, well, how'd you do that? And I said, well, I don't stop and think. I either know it or I don't, and I move on. So anyway, so they said to me at the end of all this study, they said, you are like the fastest thinker we've ever met. And I said, wow, I didn't know I was that smart. And they said, we didn't say you were smart. We said you were fast. So my whole life I've been telling people I'm really fast, but I'm stupid. It is a good one. Anyway, so I like to lead with stuff like that. It's funny. And it makes people feel good because we all do. No one wants to be impressed. Nobody. It's boring. Those people driving around fancy cars wearing all the labels. Good luck trying to impress me, but if you're funny, then I'll be impressed. If you're fun, then I'll be impressed. But the stuff, don't try and be impressive. Be impressed by other people. Show an interest in other people. That's what I taught my kids, and that's what I teach a lot of kids when I work with them.
Okay, we'll get into the next question. So, Brianna from the United States. My 4-year-old is constantly seeking approval for even the most simple tasks. I want to empower her to make decisions for herself. What can I do differently to help empower her? For example, she'll say things like, Mummy, I'm going to go play over here, and Mummy, I'm going to play with this toy.
I don't know if that's seeking approval. She just wants attention. It just doesn't sound like approval to me. It's like, are you watching my every move? Yeah, I just don't understand how that's approval. Approval is this okay? Is that okay? So I don't quite understand the question, to be honest. Can you interpret it differently for me?
Sounds more, again, I'm not a mom, I'm not a parent, but it sounds more like narrating her life.
Yeah, yeah, like she just wants the attention for it. Yeah, I would just perhaps ignore that stuff that doesn't have any meaning. You know what I mean? I'm moving over here. I would just be busy doing something else.
I think I've heard you approach something like this one before where you would start narrating your life.
Well, not at 4, maybe. And with you kids, I would have. You understood my humor. But if I was working with kids, I might not. And if you don't have that kind of humor, they might not get it. But if they said that, you know exactly what I would say. Yeah. If a kid said, "Oh, I'm going in my room now," I'd say, "Okay, I'm going in the bathroom now." For sure. And now I'm walking right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Yeah, I would have. I would have been all over that. But if your kid if you don't raise your kid with that kind of humor, it wouldn't work. That's why I don't teach a lot of what I did because we all have different personalities, right?
Okay, the next one is Mackenzie from Canada. My daughter just turned 3 at the beginning of March, and we have a newborn around the same time as her birthday. She started to become rude to me, mom, and the grandparents. She will yell, go away, stop, and no, and sometimes I or they even look at her. Sometimes when she opens the front door, she closes it and says that she doesn't want them there. I'm not sure how to explain to her that this is not a kind way to speak to people. How do I change this behavior so she isn't rude?
Well, she doesn't care that it's a kind way. She's doing it because she knows it's not kind. So what you're doing is you're actually validating her. That's not a kind way to speak to people. She's thinking, "Oh, thank God, that's exactly what I was going for." So, yeah, don't do the lecture stuff. Anyway, so just ignore that. If she says I don't want them here, just open the door and say they're coming in. Like I would never let a child control that situation. I would just say, and I would open up the door, say they're coming in, and then just ignore her. So she'll eventually learn. Kids only do what works. If she gets attention for all that negative stuff, and if you're giving her lectures are attention. They'll take any attention, bad or good, okay? So if they get attention for that bad stuff, they'll keep doing it. Where you put your energy, where you put your focus is what grows. So don't give her attention for that. Just say, oh, well, they're coming in anyway, and let them in. Then just be all happy with them and leave her out of it. Say, she didn't want you coming in, so we're just going to let her have her own space for now. And then I'd talk like over her. She'll get it. She's 3. She'll figure it out eventually. Not right away. None of this works right away. You got to do it several times.
Okay, the next one is Amanda from the United States. 3-year-old constantly repeats herself asking for things. So, for example, she wants a snack or toy. Even when I answer her the first time she asks, she will continue to ask until she gets it. I've tried telling her she says it once or she won't get it, what she is asking for, but so far that hasn't worked. Should she have a consequence for this or should I just be ignoring it?
Just be ignoring it. And you already answered it. You said she'll keep asking until she gets it. That means that you do reward it. So I would make sure she wouldn't get it. I would distract her away from it. If okay, let's say she needs a snack. Because I want a snack out, but if she needs it, well, now we're kind of going into confusing territory. So let's say she needs something. If she asks for it, then give it to her. You're going to feed her anyway, then feed her. But if you don't want her to have a snack, I want a snack. I just say no snacks for now. Then I shut down. I don't answer her again. And then I would change the topic. I would say, oh, what a lovely day out. Change the subject. It's a bit of a social snub. In other words, I'm not entering into that conversation because I already ended it. My participation in that conversation is over. She's 3. She can get it. They do get this.
I even remember you sometimes doing that.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, we'll go into the final one. So,
Now,
oh,
was that just last week or when you were little?
oh, last week, of
Yeah,
course.
I thought I did that this morning too.
Mom, can you send that email? What?
Beautiful day out. What a beautiful day out. It's whenever she starts talking about work, I'm very good at changing the topic. She's so driven with this business. Me, not so much.
Mom, can you review the newsletter?
Oh my God, no. Oh God. Oh, my nail broke. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Lauren from the United States. My son is 2.5 and is whiny and has tantrums. We've been working and are still in the stages of working through them, but I'm getting uneasy about the sort of right way to ignore them. Is walking away completely okay, or going completely silent and then moving on without saying anything, even if he's still having the tantrum? I don't want to invalidate him or make him feel that I don't care, but I want the tantrums and whining to stop, and I don't know what else to do other than the nail filing thing that you give us as an example. Can you give a few other examples for the correct way to ignore a tantrum and maybe a few others that are the wrong way? So, like you said, not to scroll on a phone.
Well, the wrong way is to walk away. You want to be there because you want to show them that it's not bothering you. Your superpower is the nonchalant attitude towards the tantrum, like you don't even see it. So filing your nails, some parents say that they're down to the nubs. They've been filing the nails so much. Or you can wash the dishes. If they're having a tantrum and you want to go wash the dishes, you're not looking at them. You never look at them or talk to them, but you might say to yourself, oh, I'm going to go do those dishes now, and then just wander over slowly. Always move slowly. Makes you look more calm. And then just do the dishes. You could be whistling or singing to yourself, like la la la, geez, what else should I do today? It's really important that you look like it just doesn't bother you at all. But also, when they're finished having the tantrum, say, oh, you all done? Do you want to go read a book? You got to connect right after it. No, I need a hug. Don't do it. That's not a love hug. That's a validate that tantrum hug. So you just pat them on the back. You're okay. Let's go read a book. You still connect, but you don't give them the big hug. Then that makes it look like you feel sorry for them and that the tantrum really was awful. No, I just treat it like it's no big deal. And eventually it will diminish in frequency, duration, and intensity.
Okay, that was it for the questions.
Ooh, that was it. I'm sorry I got so heated. And it was very negative initially because you were hitting all those, you were pushing buttons with me, I'll tell you. You knew every single button to push, all the phrases that would drive me nuts. Because I know it's the pleaser parent style and it's all about the lectures and the discussing everything. That's for you, has nothing to do with your child. That is just invented to make you feel good about yourself. Has nothing to do with your child. It's just for you. So pull away from all that lecture stuff. Just play hard with your kids in their world, connect with them, and then when they do something naughty, you correct it fast and then move on. Don't do the lectures. Don't discuss bad behavior. They're not morons. They know when they've done something bad. Okay? Don't keep discussing it. It's just mean. I like to move on. I like everything to be fun and joyous with children. I truly do. Did we have a happy life? Did we have a joyous, goofy home life?
I think we still do.
We still do. I like to be happy. I don't like drama or anything like that. I like to be happy, and I want kids to be happy, and I know how to do that. I know how to make them laugh. I know how to make them feel safe with me. They can tell me anything, and I also want them to have a voice. I want them to be strong. I don't want them to be obedient little soldiers. That's about it. Okay, so we'll wrap it up for this time, and we'll see you next time. Happy parenting. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready to dive deeper, check out bratbusters.com to learn more about the behavior board, parenting courses, and private one-on-one coaching with Lisa. If you've enjoyed the show so far, we'd love it if you could take a moment to follow, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us reach more parents just like you. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional advice. Lisa is a parenting coach, mom, and grandmother. She is not a licensed psychologist or counselor. Her services do not replace the care of psychologists or other healthcare professionals. For a full disclaimer, please visit bratbusters.com/disclaimer.